Question. What if I've got a kid I don't like, right? Or I'm not sure I like them, or no, I've decided I don't like them, right? Or maybe I like them, maybe I love them, but they're self-destructive, and giving them any money would be a mistake, and making them beneficiary would put burdens on, put it that way, burdens on the other family members, because this one's going to be a horse's ass. Okay, what if we're in that situation? How do you protect yourself? How do you protect everybody from that kid? Well, here's the deal. If you have, let's say you've got four kids, right? So you say divide by four. Fine, divide by four, no problem. And if everybody's kind of nice and getting along and the kids like each other and you like your kids and all the rest of that stuff, and they haven't done anything too outrageous, our basic estate plan is great for you, because what it says is we know that bad things happen to good people. So your kids, you don't know what the future holds for them. You don't know. So you don't just send them a check. You don't just say, okay, when I'm dead, divide, sell everything, divide by four, send out four checks. Because if you send out a check, or I call it the pillowcase of cash, pillowcase of cash, right? Pillowcase of cash, a sack of money. If you send a sack of money to your kid and your kid's in a bad neighborhood, your kid's going to get mugged, right? And life mugs people. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, am I? Right? Sometimes bad things happen. Could be divorce, could be a bankruptcy, could be COVID, could be you name it. You know, God knows what the Lord has in store for the United States of America in the next year. I don't know, but it's gonna be a wild ride. Okay, that stuff happens, and the fact that you did it right, you showed up, you checked the boxes, you were of good heart and good faith, and you kept your optimism, spring in your step, smile on your face. That doesn't guarantee, right? Remember what it says in the Bible there about the guy, who got everything all set up and he's feeling pretty good about it, and his life was required of him that night because it comes like a thief in the night, right? Things happen. Do I have to convince you of that? Well, why do I have to convince you of that? That things happen. Jay Leno didn't think things happened. How do we know? Because he's in probate court right now with his wife who's got dementia. How do we know his wife's got dementia? Because he didn't plan ahead, because he thought everything was just fine. Well, when you're Jay Leno, you got a right to think that, don't you? I mean, you were a comic, a stand-up guy, no big whatever, no Hollywood chops. And here you are with your, to the freaking Tonight Show. You beat the snot out of David Letterman, who thought it was his, right? And you got it. You're on fire. You're master of the universe. What do you need an estate plan for? Because I don't know what your excuse is, but anyway, that was his, I guess, right? He's been knocking out of the park his whole career. Well, he's a little bit older now. Cleopatra was not the only queen of denial, right? Empress of denial, whatever you want to say. Okay. So he doesn't plan ahead. Now his wife's got dementia. Now we all know about it and the medical evidence and all the rest of this. Because why? Because it's in probate court in California, and everybody knows everything out in California. When if he had spent a few hours with his friendly neighborhood attorney, that wouldn't have happened. Okay? Bottom line. So what if you plan ahead and you decide, hey, I got my kids, right? I don't know what the future holds for them, but I'm leaving them some stuff, right? Well, if you're going to leave stuff to your kids, why wouldn't you leave it in a safe place so that if your kid gets mugged, right, by life, divorce, bankruptcy, lawsuit, right? Bad things happen, student loans, bad things happen to your kid that you're leaving the money to. Why not leave it protected for the kid? Well, we've only been doing that for 35 years, 34 years, excuse me. Okay. Making sure that the money actually gets where you want it to go. But now here's the thing. What if your kid dies, predeceases you? So we say, okay, we got that money set aside for the kid. Let's give it to the kid's children. Well, the kid has no children. All right. Then let's give it to our other beneficiaries. How about that? Fine. But now here's the thing. So you got a kid who's a bit of a jerk. You got 3 kids, you like them. You like them all, you love them all. But you got one who's a bit of a jerk and wants their own way and everything else. And you know that when you're gone, the jerk is going to be a jerk. I mean, like a major league jerk. Okay. Going to give a hard time to the trustee. Because here's the deal, as trustee, when you're gone, the person that you name as trustee has a lot of power, a lot of authority. This is why it's so important to pick a good one. It's so important to pick a good trustee, someone who's trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. That's what you're looking for. A Boy Scout. That's a Scout law, incidentally. That's what you want in your trustee. Okay. And you found that person. They're wonderful. But you got the kid who's a jerk, and they question everything the trustee does. And they question and question and question to the point it drives the trustee to distraction. Okay. All right. Now, legally, the trustee's in a strong position. But listen, with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, I just made that up. And the trustee has great power, but the law puts great responsibility on the trustee, enforced by the beneficiaries, so that if there's a question, now the trustee has to answer that question. The trustee is at the mercy, to some extent, of the benefit. They have a lot of authority, a lot of power, but they're accountable. And we make it fairly easy for the beneficiaries, relatively easy for the beneficiaries to piss and moan. How do I know this? Look at what happened with Aretha Franklin. Okay. All right. You had the person in charge. Oh, everybody's got to get listened to in probate court. Everybody's going to be heard. All the rest of it. We do the trust to avoid that. And usually, that's what happens. But what if we got the unusual kid who is a class A bad person? Okay. And just, what did they say in Batman that one time? There are just some people who want to see it burn. You know what I mean? Yeah, there are some people who just, whatever reason, they just want to see it nasty. How do we deal with that person with love and concern and minimize the damage they do to everybody else? The solution, after the news.